I used to believe there were only two ways to say no. Harshly or not even at all. Either I blurt it out and feel guilty afterwards, or I'd avoid it completely, ended up feeling overwhelmed. Neither of those things, as you obviously can tell, felt right. Maybe you're there too. Maybe you've been there too. Either or. Someone asks for your time, your energy, your help, and before you can even think, you say, yes, of course I can. And then later you're like, oh my God, wait, what did I get myself into right now? Like, how am I supposed to fit that person in this block when I have back-to-back things? You replay the moment in your head, wishing you've been braver and more loyal to yourself. Now we remember now. Saying no effectively isn't about being rude or selfish. It's all about being clear. And clarity is kindness. So start remembering this. Every no you say protects the yes that truly matters. Because, moving on a little bit to the mindset shift, to redefining the no. We've been trained to see no as negative, as rejection, failure, or guilt. But no isn't negative. It's neutral. It's simply information about your limits. Did you hear that? It is simply information about your limits, aka your boundaries. Let's say someone invites you to an event that doesn't align with your goals. Saying no doesn't mean that you care. It means you care about your time and energy. Now, of course, we have to look out for each other. We have to form a community because that's how life works. That's how our society works. Community matters and showing up for each other matters. However, when we're clearly talking about setting boundaries and understanding your self-worth and not getting to a sense of burnout, that's legit just craziness. That's when we have to understand how to say no. And in those moments, to remind ourselves, it doesn't mean that you don't care. It means that you care right now about your time and energy. Because no isn't rejection, it's redirection. No isn't confrontation, it's communication. No isn't selfish, it's self-respect. Now, before you say yes automatically, because that's where your system is at, take a deep breath, count to 3 if you need to, pause and ask yourself, do I really want to do this? Or am I saying yes to avoid discomfort? All right. Now, let's say you're at work. Your coworker says, hey, can you take this on? It only takes a minute. But, it'll take hours, and you smile and you agree. And you tell yourself it's not a big deal. But once again, that small yes becomes another brick in the wall of burnout. And that's not just a word that we're throwing around willy-nilly. No, of course not. It's a word that we really have to focus on and understand what it actually means. Because every small yes made from guilt is a quiet no to yourself. And burnout is made of those many small yeses that all of a sudden it's a huge no to yourself, where you don't have time not only for yourself to do the things that you need to do in this world, whether that's even grocery shopping, the basic needs, or just give yourself a time to think and to be and see, do I really want to be doing this activity? Do I really want to be hanging out with this person? Do I really like the movie we're about to see? And I just said yes because I just agreed because that was everybody's deal. Once again, we really have to separate the clear lines between community and being there for one another and that kind of friendship. But the whole purpose of No-vember is to lay down your work, your shadow work, your groundwork for those boundaries of saying no. Because two things can be right at the same time. And what was the sentence? Two opposing things can be right at the same time. And those two are really different topics, because I know we've gone in depth in certain occasions about the whole friendship community showing up for one another. Now we're really diving into how to say no and how to say no gracefully, right? So let's talk a little bit about practical framework. All right. Tool number 1 is the pause. Like I said before, you don't owe anyone an immediate answer. Most of us say yes too quickly because we panic in the silence. We got to remember that silence is power. And we got to remember that the more times that we are able to sit in silence, the more power we hold in the very best possible way. I'm not talking in isolation. I'm not talking any of the sort. I'm saying this is where the groundwork, the shadow work comes in. If you can practice with yourself to sit in silence, start with 10 seconds, start with 30 seconds. It doesn't have to be a whole meditation. It doesn't even have to be a meditation. But if you can hold still in silence to understand the value that it actually has as well, the moment someone says, hey, your coworker, hey, I need help with this, and it's already 6 o'clock, but like, can you stay another half an hour, and all of a sudden it's 9 p.m.? You can pause and be like, whoa, okay, to yourself. You don't have to say whoa out loud. Because you understand the power of that silence. And also because of social media, it feels like our society, we're just a click away, which on certain occasions, that's really cool because long distance friendships and families and things like that, it's amazing to keep in touch, of course. But also it's like, just because it's a buzz on my phone, or sometimes not even a buzz on my phone or notification on my phone, but just because my phone is next to me or not, doesn't mean I'm always available. Just because you see me on social media doesn't mean my WhatsApp is available, or vice versa, or my email. These are my office hours. So remember that you don't owe anyone an immediate answer. And if it's not a mother effing yes, then it's an F no, right? So yeah, when someone asks you for something, pause and say, let me check my schedule and get back to you. I'll need to think about that. Can I let you know later today or later this week evening, depending on where the week lies? Because pausing gives your nervous system time to respond intentionally instead of reacting emotionally. And isn't that absolutely beautiful? Tool number 2, the gentle no. You can be kind and firm at the same time. Try combining appreciation with honesty. Hey, I really appreciate you thinking of me, but I'll have to pass this time. That sounds great, but I'm at capacity right now. Thank you for the invite. I'm keeping this weekend for rest. You don't need to justify. You don't need to overexplain. Believe me, been there. You don't need to apologize. And I've been there again with all 3 of them. No is a full sentence. And you don't even have to say it harshly. Right? Right. So, tool number 3, the delayed no. Sometimes you generally need time to decide. Use a delayed no as your buffer zone. For example, hey, that's something I'd like to think about. Can I give you an answer tomorrow? Then you've had time. I thought about it, but I don't have the bandwidth right now. Thank you for understanding. This method builds confidence because you're practicing intentional communication instead of an automatic agreement. Tool number 4, the redirected no. When you want to be helpful but cannot take the task, you can offer an alternative. For example, I'm not available for that project, but have you considered asking so-and-so? I can't attend that meeting, but I can review the notes afterwards. Little things like that. A redirect no keeps your boundaries while still supporting the relationship. 5, the firm no. Sometimes you just need to be direct. Especially when it comes to somebody that has repeatedly crossed your boundaries. Firm, firm, firm. Okay? Direct, direct, direct. For example, I've mentioned this before and I'm not comfortable discussing it again. I need you to respect that. Or the more ever so practical, I'm not available for that and my decision is final. Firm doesn't mean angry. It means that you decided what peace costs and you're willing to pay for it. Now, let's say that you're always the one that helps everybody move and fix things and listen for hours and volunteer for every shift. The next time someone asks, try this. Take a deep breath, feel your shoulders relax, and then say, I wish I could help, but I can't this time. And then stop talking. Don't fill the sentence. Let the no breathe. Because the silence after your no is sacred, and that's a space where self-respect lives. So even when you say no perfectly, you might still feel guilty, and that's normal. You're breaking a lifelong pattern of overgiving. You can feel guilt and still do the right thing. Guilt doesn't mean that you're wrong. It means that you're growing. When guilt shows up, remind yourself, I'm not rejecting them, I'm protecting me. And think of your no as an act of love, not just for yourself, but for others too. When you say no to something that drains you, you say yes to showing up with your best energy when it truly matters. Because picture yourself standing in a circle of light. For every yes you say to things that don't serve you, that dims your light. So, in other words, every no that honors your peace makes it shine even brighter. This week, practice saying no once a day. It can be small. Say no to unnecessary call, a task that isn't yours, or a habit that drains you. Each no builds the muscle of self-respect. My no is not rejection. My no is clarity. My no is peace. Hug tighter, love stronger, always believe. See you all next week. Bye.